for an incredible night. Oh, we're taking it up a notch.
I feel like 2024 is a bit of it's a weird one. Like everyone seems to be quiet.
Preparing for the new year ahead. This is why I've got James Jebson photography, because he's like an expert in this.
For 1 month, 5 posts a week, and see the difference it's going to improve your presence within the industry. The moment you start posting like that on social media, everyone goes, God, he's really busy, isn't he? You know when I'm busy, when I go quiet. Every supplier has got access to professional content. No excuses. You can sit on the toilet and message the photographer that you work with on Saturday and go, have you got a link to your gallery? 6 months later, I'm then photographing first team players for Man United, which then triggered, obviously, a massive thing in my commercial thing. If you are too busy, I'd be chucking on 500 quid onto you and not doing 100, I'll put it up by 150 quid. It's 500 quid increments. It's that straightforward.
Hey, be sure you stick around because we're only getting warmed up.
But it's been a game changer, genuinely, and I know that gets used a lot, game changing, but it is. I've not even put my camera back down yet, and people like me. Yeah. I'm on a winner.
Let's go.
Good afternoon, guys. Afternoon, or maybe morning. Could be the evening, who knows. But welcome to another podcast of Think Wedding Business with our good friend, Mr. James Jebson. I'm just going to put his name straight out there.
Boom.
James Jebson.
So today's topic, we're going straight into it today, mate, I think. Yeah, today's topic is all about preparing for the new year ahead. And time of year now, we're just about to come into December, and it's good practice what you do at the very end of the year, but then what you're doing next year to plan for your year of weddings, your marketing strategy, your plans, little tips and tricks, best practices. This is why I've got James, because he's like an expert in this. James Jebson photography and many other things. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome, James.
Hi.
Hi,
Adam.
Well, there's a reason that we've got you on today, because we worked together 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we were on the break during the meal on the wedding, and we was chatting about next year and how it's looking, bookings, inquiries, etc. And we got chatting about a couple of different things, and there was a couple of things specifically that we'll touch on that I took away from that conversation.
Nice.
Like, he's really fired me up. I'm going to go home and do that.
Good.
So I thought that would be great to share with the podcast, the listeners, and just kind of, because you've been smashing it for years, and you're very good at this sort of thing. So
thank you.
It'd be good to get your insights.
Yeah.
Kind of what you do annually, but also this year particularly, because I feel like 2024 is a bit of it's a weird one. Like everyone seems to be quiet on inquiries and bookings for next year, and it's like the same conversations with everyone I've spoken to. Oh, I don't know about next year. How are you doing for next year? And everyone seems to be a bit down on inquiries. I am personally.
Yeah,
bookings are fine. It's just inquiries is kind of getting a bit more sporadic, and
I think it may be
like people are less committal and
after all the COVID stuff, where 2022 and probably this year, everybody was like massively crammed in tons and tons and tons of work. It just seems to be balancing out a little bit. I think now maybe people are getting a little bit shit. I've not got as many bookings.
Also, do you go hell for leather, or do you look at it and go, actually, well, maybe I don't want to. Maybe I want to look at other things. And you've got loads of different arms to your businesses, because you do commercial work, you do social media management and stuff, so it's leaning into those as well. But so what, like, to start off 2024, how's yours looking?
It's quiet. It's like how we just touched on, in that I think it's based around still that weird knock-on effect, and I know we still talk about COVID years on, but people weren't going out dating, they weren't starting the relationships that 2-3 years they'd then be getting engaged. So, 2025, busy, 26, loads of bookings already, which, I don't normally do. I normally kind of do a 2-year max of being able to book. But yeah, next year is quieter. For me, I'm still looking at like the 30 odd bookings, which is kind of really, really comfortable for me. But I'm not personally worried because of the other avenues that I've got to earn money, particularly, and particularly photographers and videographers. We've got such an open market to be able to be earning if we wanted to do stuff outside weddings. Some people want to stick to weddings, and that's totally cool, and that's a great thing to do, but there are other avenues that people can go down.
It is great, but then if it does start to slow up, you either you lean into that and go, what can I do to push more weddings, or you go the other way and go, well, maybe I do need to, whether you want to or not, maybe you do need to look at other avenues.
I've always done it, and the reason I've always done it is I'm not a very good creature of routine. I get bored really easily. If I'm doing the same thing over and over again, then I'll just lose interest. And being able to do different things in the week, and obviously each wedding is different in its own way, but there is an element of the same structure within there. So I think personally, from my perspective, wouldn't be doing weddings now if I was just doing that from the beginning of my career. The commercial element lets me hone particular skills that I then use on weddings as well. So, if a wedding photographer does one wedding a week and I do one wedding a week, but then I've got commercial work in the week as well, then my standard of work's going to increase at a higher rate just through, being repetitive.
Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly that. So for me, it makes sense to keep honing those skills through the week to then be able to level up your work for the weddings as well.
And also, God forbid that another COVID type thing happened, but I think we all learned that you can't just rely on one thing.
No,
and it just makes sense to have multiple income streams.
I think we can touch on this in a bit. I think it's it's so important now. I think a lot of people have learned from that experience and think, we need to do some extra things, some different sort of diversion, if you like, from what I'm doing. But let's pull it back to weddings.
Yeah,
it's coming up to the end of the year.
Okay.
Well, before we get on to that, because this is one of the things that got me from that conversation that got me a couple of weeks ago was that 2024 particularly, you've got that period of couples meeting after lockdown, and then getting together, and then getting engaged, and then moving. And that few years. So in 2025, 2026. That is the trajectory of people that have met after COVID are then going to finally be getting to that stage. Do you think that's a real thing?
100%. I really do.
It really struck me that. I was like, that makes sense. Because there was obviously loads of breakups in COVID times and lockdown and loads and nobody could meet. So then afterwards, then they started to meet and go out. And then when you said that, I was like, that makes sense.
I had one of my couples split up during COVID, I got to say, and I chatted to the bride and I said, what happened? She said, well, we had all this time together. We had all this time together. Honestly,
shouldn't laugh.
This is a true story. I had all this time together. I remember just lying next to him in bed one night, and just the fact he was breathing was annoying me.
Well, there you go. That's got to be a big indicator. I mean, you look at it from a personal perspective. Beth and I, we met. I mean, we were friends for a long time, but we only started dating probably 6 months. It's a bit dubious when I believe our first date was and when she believes our first date was, but that's a different story. But probably about 6 months before lockdown.
Yeah.
And like you say, that either then accelerates that process because you're just really getting to know each other.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. And we're getting married in 6 months. So it's kind of, you've either got that or the other way, like you said.
Also, I know there'll be a lot of people listening there'll be people listening that will be worried about next year because all they're hearing from all their supplier friends in the network is, I'm quiet too. Next year's looking a bit worried.
Yeah, but it's a great opportunity.
It's reassuring for me that maybe that is an outlier and maybe the year after will be back to normal and maybe not need to worry too much.
People might rest on the laurels there. They might think, it's across the board. Everybody's saying it's quiet next year, so let's just accept that. But
which you shouldn't do either.
You shouldn't do. It's like James just said. Then it's an opportunity, isn't it? I want to pull it back to that question. Then we're going into everybody's saying it's a quiet year. Well, let's just take it from here. Then from now to December, then going into next year. What are you doing? What would you some good advice for people who are wanting to maybe kickstart their year next year, create more bookings? Bit of help with the marketing. What things are you doing and what's good practice?
I mean, for me, it's a great opportunity and it's something that I'm going to be doing personally of really structuring your marketing processes from what platforms you're on to how often you're posting and what are you posting, what are your target couples. And it gives you that bit of breathing room because traditionally we kind of, particularly within photography, we're then catching up with our editing throughout autumn and winter. Then we've got loads of bookings coming in through January. Then February kind of is the breather, and then boom, we're away again in March. So we don't have that breathing space. So this is potentially
you always think you're going to, but you
don't.
Actually...
So this is a prime opportunity next year to take that time. And I'm really one for structure. Like you say, having multiple businesses, it's key to having structure. And there's certain tools and techniques that I'll talk about that help, build those boundaries that you're not working. I was a killer for working till 3 a.m. every single night, and I'm not exaggerating with that, as you know.
I do know.
Yes, but now I don't want to do that because I want to spend time with my kids and I want to do all those kind of amazing things that life gives me as well. So structuring everything from the point of view of going, right, well, do you know what? I'm going to commit to posting 5 times a week. And I'm going to post on Facebook, Instagram, at least 5 times a week. I'm going to look at another avenue, whether that be TikTok or whatever it may be. But I'm going to commit to that for throughout January or throughout February. And only doing it in small chunks, not going, well, I'm going to do that for the entire year. Going, right, January, I've got a good hit in January. For 1 month, 5 posts a week. And see the difference in your business after that 1 month. And I guarantee it's going to improve your presence within the industry, will skyrocket, as well as the recommendations. The moment you start posting like that on social media, everyone goes, God, he's really busy, isn't he? He's really busy. You know when I'm busy, when I go quiet. It's the opposite way around. So it's a bit of a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when I'm posting a lot, he's going a little bit quiet over there.
It's funny.
But it's an ideal time to do it and get yourself out there. It's an opportunity to rebrand. If your branding's been the same for the last 3 years, I'm saying rebrand regularly. Yeah. Look at Nike. How many logos they've had? Do you know what I mean? It's a great opportunity to drive traffic, look what I've done, and drive people to your business. Get a fresh logo. Doesn't need to be a new website, but refresh the website. Get some fresh images on there. Change the text in there. Use your opportunity where you're not as busy to change how people perceive you. I've upped my prices again, even though I'm quieter for next year. The prices have gone up, and the everything visually needs to reflect what I'm now asking my couples for. Yeah. So that starts off with the branding, with the logo, with the website and everything. So 24, albeit is not going to be as busy as a year to shoot, if I can say that sentence in one go. But it does allow you to really polish your business to make it even more successful moving forward through 25 and 26.
If you've got those 5 posts a week, do you bulk get them ready in advance, or do you just kind of go?
You can do it again. It's about what
easy
works
for us because we've got that content as part of our service anyway. It's different for you.
I have a little bit because I take my camera with me to all my weddings, so I do get little clips. So I get a bit of stuff.
But again, within the industry, everybody's working with professional content creators.
Yeah.
So even as an amazing singer and entertainer, going back to the old school of going, Howard knows 100% that when I work with him, he's going to get a gallery of images.
Yeah.
And he can pick what works for his brand. There's certain images that he won't want to use, and that's cool. And I know there's certain elements where the mic's in other people's faces, you don't necessarily use that a lot. Whereas there'll be other ones where it's a reaction of somebody that tells a story that something's going on, that doesn't give anything away for other couples or other weddings down the line. So I know that certain ones you're going to pick. And
for me, it's always about. I always try and take it away from myself, because this is a big thing that I learned many years ago. Because when I first started, my website was all about me and how cool I am and look how good I am at singing, and it was all a load of big-headed kind of egotistical kind of marketing, if you like, with my website. But then I just completely flipped it, because it's not about me, it's about the people in the room, it's about the bride, and I'm selling the experience. So I want to pick those images that shows a great atmosphere in the room, rather than me stood there looking cool with my mic. Do you know what I mean?
So it from the precedent that every single supplier that's there, from makeup artist hair in the morning to Ollie and Susie bringing the light up letters or whatever they've kind of got going on, every supplier has got access to professional content. So there's no excuses of not having content, and it's the easiest content because you don't even have to shoot it. You're literally downloading it and you're tagging the supplier in. So that is the winning combination. You can sit on the toilet and message the photographer that you work with on Saturday and go, have you got a link to your gallery? Because all photographers use online galleries now. So they can literally copy and paste that gallery link. They want you to share the images. Gone are the days of going, well, it'll cost you £3 or whatever people used to charge for copyright use or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you're going to get tagged in it, aren't you?
You're going to get tagged in it. So photographers should be, and again, it's another great exercise in January as a photographer going, right, what weddings did I do last year? I was at Bartle Hall 6 times. I'm going to get all 6 galleries lined up in an email, introduce myself. Here's some galleries. Use those images if you want. They're all yours. I'd love to shoot. But you're not even asking to be recommended, because it happens organically, because you're sending more images. They're going to post more images of yours, which means you're kind of getting recommended anyway without asking to be recommended.
This is why I always say I think we're in the best business, because you can sell yourself without selling yourself.
100%.
There's never a hard sell. It's just doing stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That I love that. You've worked at Ball 6 times. You're sending them all their galleries, and they're going to cherry pick what images they want to use.
And that is a venue that you want to hit because it's down the road and it gets great weddings.
And it's an exclusive venue that has both a house and a barn, so you've got very different couples. You've got high-end couples there as well. For me, you know, and it's just somewhere I want to be. So if I want to be there, and I enjoy being there, the staff are great, they look after you.
Love it.
And so I'm like, I want to shoot there more. So here's some galleries. It's identifying where you are within your career. You may want to be everywhere, and that's totally cool. So send galleries everywhere. You may be at a point where you're like, well, actually, I know where I like and I know where I don't like, so I'm going to send galleries to the people I do want to work at. But the main thing is, all suppliers have access to content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they don't have to shoot.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how many people go, oh yeah, I know I should post more, but I just don't know what to post.
Post anything. Post anything.
And
We got a lot of our students were saying that, weren't they? I think we gave them a list of things they can post. It's like...
But I mean, obviously the visuals look great and photos look great, but mixing it up with some videos and then with some text and with some written posts that you screenshot. Like there was, I was speaking to a videographer the other day who gets Google reviews, but then doesn't know, he wants to share them on socials, he was like, yeah, but it's no good for me, them going on Google and reviewing me. Like, I need it on Instagram. And I was like, just screenshot it. Put it on Instagram. And he was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. Of course you can do what you want. Why not? I do it.
It kind of pains me to say it, and I know some people will shudder at the thought.
Dress it up.
But look at Canva. And I know it sounds really crass and crap, and I know graphic designers pull their hair out at it. But from a basic perspective of going, I may use a screenshot, but actually I can copy that text straight off, dump it into Canva, search for 5-star reviews, and it'll bring up templates.
Yeah, you can dress them up, look real nice.
Yeah, and you can upload your logo so it knows your colouring and your branding, and it creates your colouring for you. And then you're copying the text over, so you're getting your post. It would take you potentially a minute and a half to copy the text, dump it into Canva, export it as a PNG, and then upload it. Bosh.
Let me show you this one.
If you're going to do 5 posts a week, that's one of them done.
That's one of them
I
done.
use a simple one. It's a bit simpler than Canva. That's the thing that I did. And that's called Word Swag. And you can upload your images on it. You can lighten your image or darken it. You can put text over the top.
Perfect.
So Word Swag is a good one for that.
There you go. So there's
loads
countless
of apps for it.
There's loads of apps.
Yeah, there is.
But the basis of where I think, in my opinion, and I know we're digressing a lot from the initial question,
we'll bring it back to that.
Yeah, but the big thing I'm seeing and feeling at the minute, and particularly because, I've got an entire business that's based just on social media management for various different clients. What I'm seeing a lot at weddings, particularly this year, is that people understandably are so focused on getting their content on the wedding day that it kind of impacts the wedding day slightly. My thoughts are, do the job really well, particularly if you're working with a photographer or a videographer that you know and that you've seen the work and you like the work. Concentrate on doing the best job possible, because your content's taken care of.
You know that you can get it.
And there's a mutual benefit of us doing that, because I want you to share my images. I want Howie to go, work with Jebson, it was mega, check out these images, love it, perfect.
Saves him a job on the day, and it saves him getting in your shots, because he's like,
and that's
we've been there.
That's it.
Suppliers coming in with the phones. I need to get my content, and it's eating into the day for the couple or for us.
And I get it when people may work with photographers that they don't know and don't trust, so they're not going to do it then. I get it. You want to have control over it. It's a particular wedding that you want to promote. Sure. However, if you are working with somebody that is, if you're working with a Johnny or me or you or the people that whose works at a particular standard, then just do the best job possible and the content's taken care of. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion, I'm sure people disagree with it and going, I'll shoot what I want and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I've seen things very differently when Beth and I have been, planning our wedding day, and as well as seeing all the things on social media of kind of going what you want, I've also seen a lot of stuff of what I don't want as well. And a big thing for me is not wanting that. And I think, as with anything, it goes full circle. And I think we're potentially this year definitely at almost the peak of that kind of mindset of going, I need to get my social, I need to get my videos, and I need to get and spend all that time doing that. And I know couples love being on people's Instagram, but I think it'll go potentially full circle on that front where it doesn't, because use the professional images.
Well, I think this is a perfect way to bring it back, actually, because I was going to ask you more kind of direct stuff, because we touched on the socials there. And so, for instance, what I used to do, I've not done it for a while, actually, probably should do it again, but there was a good few years where at the end of the year I'd always go and visit the venues.
Yeah, nice.
That I really wanted to work at, that I had great relationships with. I'd take them a Christmas card, I'd take some chocolates and that sort of thing. Anything along them lines that you would still do, or you can recommend, or what's good sort of direct marketing kind of?
It's a weird one. I think, again, I mean, we touched on it before, of different stages in your career, and it's about identifying where you are within that.
It could be a supplier, just to stop it to point, it could be a supplier. So I used to go and visit suppliers. I know we have the networking nights, but I used to go to the house, I used to have coffee with Sam Fitton, and he came here once and brought me a present. Nice. So it's not just the venues, it's other things.
And that's literally what I was going to say, in that, for me, venues within the people that are couple faced, the staff that see those tend to be quite transient within venues, more so than what they used to be. I know that sounds like a back in my day kind of thing.
The word transient.
Do you like that?
Fresh words on the pod, mate.
Take that off on the word bingo, will
the
you?
Calendar's ticked off there, isn't it? So yeah, I know what you mean.
So it's hard.
The staff that you might be working with. Yeah. At various points of your wedding planning,
very few owners operate now.
Different. It used to be more owner based, didn't it? And owner ran, should I say?
Yeah. So for me, the face to face stuff is more suppliers, because your suppliers are owner operators and they're not going anywhere. So the people that you want to work with, that you enjoy working with, and a combination of those, they're the people that you want to see. Like you said yourself, tonight happens to be Andy Murphy's got his event that he does in Manchester. I went to the summer one, I can't make tonight, but it's a great opportunity to build on those relationships from the people that you've worked with, to then get to know properly, which will then just cement those recommendations. Because it's like the amount of times where either of us, where it's like, well, who can you recommend? Well, I can definitely recommend Adam. We were out actually the other week having a couple of beers and it just cements that. And
it's that time of year, Christmas parties, 100%. And you're quiet, so you've got the time to check in on your mates and your network.
Yeah.
Let's meet up.
So from a venue perspective, I feel now is the hardest time I've ever known to build a rapport with a venue now. It's really difficult because of the transient changes.
This is what I've always experienced in my career the last 5-6 years. Any coordinator or event manager that I get to know at a venue, I can go back 6 months later and they're not there anymore. It's someone else, and then all of a sudden you're starting from scratch.
Yeah,
and
which is okay.
Not always. Sometimes they go, "Oh, I know you're on our list and we've not met," and you can reforge it. But sometimes it just goes out the window and they've already got their favourites.
And we've had it a number of times where a particular wedding coordinator who you built a rapport with at one venue moves to probably another venue, and then you're getting recommended there, which is great. Which is perfect. But it's not. Again, it's just a personal thing that I've found that's not really happening as much anymore. And suppliers are key. For me, the majority, I looked at, before coming on as a bit of prep, I kind of looked at where my wedding's at, where my weddings are coming from, and kind of how many I've done, which kind of blew my mind as well. But the majority of where mine come from now are recommendations from predominantly other couples or their family members. I have a lot of mums that book me because I did the sister's wedding and all that kind of stuff. The first wedding we did, which I remember like it was yesterday, Kirsty and Wayne Cropper.
Was that our first wedding?
That was our first
Beast
wedding
and
together.
Manor.
Beast and Manor, great memory. I had a total of 8 weddings from that one wedding. So there was one wedding where I had a photo with all my couples, past, present and future, and it was like, like a footy team. And that's where it comes from. And it comes from, like I touched on before, of focusing, instead of focusing on getting that video or the snap or the whatever it is, which I know works for a lot of suppliers. For me, it's just about doing the best job possible for that couple, knowing that they're at a stage in their life where we all went through it, don't we? Everyone's getting married for the next 3-5 years or whatever, or you then go to christenings constantly for the next few years and all that kind of stuff. That's life. So I think there's a lot to be said. We can all focus on selfies and visiting suppliers, but just doing the most incredible job for your couples with a great follow-up process. And you know, I literally bumped into a couple of mine the other week that I first shot a sister's wedding at Blenheim Palace years ago. I then shot her wedding a couple of years ago, and they've then moved to round the corner from where we live, and we're organising going for dinner. That's genuinely how it happens. I'm still mates with Kirsty and Wayne.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's, for me, it's about investing in. We put so much focus on big numbers of weddings. How many are you doing this year? I'm doing 1,000. Oh yeah, that's incredible. You're smashing it. I'd rather do 35 and put all that time and effort in, charge a little bit more, and enjoy it, and not be run ragged. Whereas the old me, if I'd have been on this podcast, probably pre-COVID, I'd have been like, if you're not doing 55, you're a pussy. You need to fucking come on. What are you doing? And that was it. Whereas, like we say, stages in my career, I'm now at a point of going, well, what do 35 solid,
Changes,
amazing weddings?
I'm exactly the same now. I used to do over 100 gigs a year at one time.
I remember.
Now I do 30 weddings.
Yeah.
And I was known for, in the video world, doing a lot. And everyone
you
was
were.
like, "You're mental. Like, how do you keep up with
But
that?" And I was like, "Yeah, but
that's how you start.
It was fine.
Yeah,
because I
that's
was
that point.
young and single, and I was
Exactly
doing it
that.
all the time.
Exactly
And
that.
now I've got kids. I've a kid and another one on the way, and you know, life changes, and I want
Absolutely.
to do less because I want to be at home.
That's
more.
part of it when you start, isn't it? You've got to really put yourself out
gotcha.
there. And cheaper gigs, free gigs sometimes.
Yeah,
And then
100%.
you just really build your name within the industry, and then you can start to pull things back
Net
a little
wide,
bit.
and then
But-
slowly.
Totally.
Yeah, but then you can hone it in where the venues where you want to work for the right clients.
Interesting though about the venues and not being the focus anymore for
For
you.
me
And-
personally, listen, and I say this anytime I speak on anything, there's 100 different
change
ways
again
to
next
achieve
year.
something. Yeah, and like I say, we did an interview for your YouTube channel, didn't we? However many years ago, and I bet if we put that mirror in together, it's a very different message. You know, the industry changes, but something I've always talked about, and I've talked about it a lot, is about finding your why. And it sounds really cheesy and like a really cheesy motivational
Simon
thing.
Sinek.
It could be. I don't even know. It could be anyone. Gary Vee, whoever
It
knows.
was Simon Sinek. Yeah.
Was it Simon Sinek? So finding your why is key. So it's like you just touched on of having kids at the minute. Like for me, I've got a little girl who's 10 years old. I've got a little boy who's about to turn 9. I've got like 2-3 more summers where they're arguing over who's holding my hand and where they want to hang out with me before they want to hang out with the mates. So I'm like, I've got 3 summers, man. Like,
William's just turned 13. It's like who is this person in
that's
my
what
house?
I keep being warned about. Yeah. So
still there.
Yeah.
But there's new elements. It's interesting.
So for me, I'm still as hungry and I still adore what I do. But I'm also very conscious of the fact I've got 2 little humans that are everything to me, that spending my time with them is as important. If not
and you're
more
in a great place in your career where you can create that balance for yourself now.
Yeah.
Without a
Whereas
doubt.
old me, like I say, it was selfies, videos on Instagram at 3 a.m. going, I'm killing it. I'm just done twice the working day than any other photographer. Let's go.
Any more prep advice for next year then? Come on.
Can I ask? You mentioned prices increase.
Yes.
So this is something that I look at myself every year around January. I'm like, oh, prices. I wonder if I should put them up this year. What's your threshold for going? Yeah, I'm going to put them up. Or
In what?
factors do you
How
look
much?
at?
Or factors? So factors for me are what.
You don't have to divulge how much, but just in
No,
terms of do I do it?
What's
do
your
I put them
theory
up? Do I
behind
change?
when you would do it?
My theory behind when you should do it, in my opinion, is when you feel like you're too busy. If you're too busy, then you're not charging enough. You should be at a point where you're busy, but you could do a bit more. And then that means you've still got the hunger to be chasing it a little bit. So if you are too busy, I'd be chucking on 500 quid onto you and not doing 100. I'll put it up by 150 quid. It's 500 quid increments. It's that
for
straightforward, in my opinion, again. And, you know, it's then putting your prices up, but then justifying it with what you're putting out there within your marketing. So, like you say, polished website, polished branding, reviews coming out there, being talked about a lot because you're posting a lot on social. So it's like he's firing at the minute. It's absolutely killing it. Look, I'm just going to nip on his website. It's looking all shiny and new, and the logo's looking on fire.
The price reflects that.
Exactly that.
Look at the clients he's doing the weddings for. And
Exactly
we want
that.
to be in that club.
Yeah, but a polished pricing guide, a digital brochure that looks really polished and again, referring back to the stage I'm at in my life of planning our wedding, seeing the differences from genuine inquiries that I sent to people, getting no responses, getting some responses, getting weird responses, getting a bit too arrogant responses and then underplaying it responses, and our industry's very unique in how diverse people charge for what's classed as the same job. You know, there's not many industries that range from 500 quid to, we got quoted £12,500 by a photographer. So it varies. Wow. And she was justifying it, man. She was like, well, this is what you get. And if she does 6 of them a year, fair play to her, and that's it. But, you know, there's people like, I can guarantee, I think I showed you the screenshot, she's charging 12.5 grand. Fair play. But I also know people that pop up on my Facebook of going, we're doing special offers at 400 quid and you get a million pictures and all that kind of stuff.
Isn't it funny?
So it's strange.
There's so many ways
what a bizarre industry we're in. But
Yeah.
from a pricing perspective, identify how busy you are. If you feel too busy or a little bit overwhelmed, straight away add £500 onto your elements, but also consider what marketing and what outside impression you're giving clients.
Yeah, so be mindful that if you're going to put your prices up to a certain amount, you're potentially getting into a different level of branding. And
Yeah, everyth's got to be on point. It's all got to be congruent, hasn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
I've got a note.
Congruent.
Oh my God.
I was going to ask you about your wedding
Congruent,
planning.
Globule. What? My wedding, yes.
Your wedding planning.
Yes.
So because I've had this, because I'm planning mine, and I remember seeing your spreadsheet of all the suppliers that you inquire with, and
what their response
prices and what they'd offered, and whether
Absolutely.
they'd responded or
Definitely.
But I then had my own experience. Same thing. You know, some people responded brilliantly, and some people completely didn't reply, and some people were a bit miffed off with, rude, and it was eye opening. Has it made you think about how you are as a supplier? And has it changed anything? Because
Definitely.
it has for me.
It has for both. Beth, my other half, Beth Alderson, is an amazing
Shout out,
award-winning
Beth.
photographer.
Beth Alderson.
Because obviously, your beautiful bride-to-be is
She's
also a wedding photographer.
Incredible. And our office is now...
So for both of you,
we're sat next
you're
to
in
each
it,
other.
aren't you?
It's so cute, yeah. And we bounce off each other, and that has been really helpful for me, of going from being so isolated to being with somebody who gets
your
it,
advice
who's
is to
amazing.
try and marry a wedding
try
photographer.
and marry someone in the same... That easy, and then you'll smash it. No, but we've both done it. We both looked at people's works and full galleries and gone, God, we're better than that. And I always thought, because you see power images on Insta and you get that thing of going, oh my God, I'm not as good as everybody else. And then you get full galleries and you go, oh, nice work, that person. You go, fair play, every credit to you. You charge more than me. But
you're
actually,
marketing yourself really well.
Yeah, I feel that I'm better than that, actually. So that gives you elements of self-confidence, which is rare and great. But yeah, it's made me realise that, like, your initial contact is key. I never put as much emphasis on it than what it deserves, I feel. That first point of contact is number one, in my opinion, and how that comes across are as an individual response. Those people that emailed, very particular, because they'd read the inquiry and it wasn't a copy and paste and slap it on. It was like, the venue that we're getting married at. Yeah. I've always wanted to, the areas of X, Y, and Z, which makes them know, oh, great, they've looked at the area, they're invested in me. Yeah. So taking that extra 2.5 minutes to bespoke your reply, in my opinion, works wonders. And the big thing I've seen is digital brochures, having that polished makes such a difference. Such a difference. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm a visual person, I don't know.
Just looks. It's nice to scroll through.
It's
and go,
part of that luxury thing.
And it's finding those
elements
that people don't do as well, isn't it? Finding those, if they just get a normal email, it's generic with a price at the bottom.
That's a budget kind
and
of
if you're sending in a nice, personally, you can tell it's a personal reply
full of your images
with a really nice tagged on PDF of all your glossy and all that stuff.
So you could argue that that's an extra step they've got to take. They've got to open it. They've got to read somewhere, but it does look nice, doesn't it?
If they don't want to read it, they're not invested in you. Yeah,
then they will.
Yeah, and that's it. I instantly get an indication because I've added mobile number. Now, it's not compulsory to input the mobile number to inquire with me. However, I know if the person's not put their mobile number on, they're not very invested in me, because they're kind of like, oh, well, yeah, no, I don't want to give them my mobile number. And it even says in brackets, the only reason I'm asking for this is sometimes it lands in your junk folder, so I'll drop you a WhatsApp to let you know I've replied. So it's letting you know that you're not going to get spammed, every
Yeah,
weekend. It's just as a belt and braces situation because I want to reply properly. So if they've not put their mobile number in there, I know they're not invested because they don't quite trust me.
Yeah,
with
it's
their
the same.
mobile.
Like I think most of my fields on my inquiry form are optional in the sense that, like, emails compulsory, dates compulsory.
Yeah.
But like venue, your number, where did you find me? Give me some more details. They're all optional.
Yeah.
So you know when you get an inquiry and it's literally just name,
Prices.
date.
Yeah.
Not even that. Just no text. Just my name, my date, and that can be it sometimes, or the venue.
Yeah.
And like you say, sometimes it's just how much. Versus we've filled out every section and we've done a paragraph explaining our vibe and our decor that
Dream
we're going
couple.
for. And you know that they're into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I had one booking recently who, when they booked, we just carried on chatting, having a beer. And it was just a little throwaway comment from the groom of just going, do you know what I really liked? Because you were dead chatty on Instagram and I really liked it. And it was like, that's what, like, you wouldn't think, but that was what they needed of kind of going, oh my God, are you mega excited? Do you feel like a proper grown up now? And people, and some couples would be like, what's he talking about? Do I feel like a grown up? That's not my couple. So if that doesn't land with you, then I'm okay. Yeah. When the ones go back of going, no, it's really weird, man. I don't feel like and then I go, this is cool.
Funny, is it? So, like I say, some people require different ways, don't they?
Yeah.
I suppose you pick that vibe up, won't you? If they're dead chat on Insta and you're chatty back, fair enough.
Yeah.
But you'd think it's just a given, the same for me when the couples have gone, well, we just liked that we could see your face on Instagram versus just loads of work.
Yeah.
It's like, but
something we push massively.
It, like, I don't know, I think prior, because that's how I would work and that's how I would communicate, I'd be like, well, yeah, of course, why wouldn't I? Like some websites don't have an about page or a picture of the person behind the brand, and it just seems a bit alien, doesn't it?
It's impersonal, isn't it?
And going back, like, now seeing it from a groom's perspective, planning my own wedding, I now understand it even more because it's like now I looked at some websites and I couldn't even see the person.
No.
And it like really threw me.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? And it kind of vindicated myself. I was like, I am right to show my face. I am right to put stuff on Instagram.
No, definitely.
Because from a groom point of view, like, it proper throws me if I don't know who I'm dealing with.
I've done it before.
And I can't put a face to the name.
I've done exactly the same thing before. Say if I've got a wedding coming up and it's a new photographer I don't know, I'll Google it. I'll go on the website.
To find them sometimes,
if there's no picture of the guy's or girl's face, I'll then go onto Instagram and see what they're posting.
Yeah.
It might be a brilliant post. I still can't see who it is. Well, I want to see who it is.
That goes back and it links beautifully with what you were saying before about going, well, what content can I put out there? For me, every quarter there should be a post of going introducing yourself because you've your new followers that you've had that quarter. You get the support of the people that you've already had going, we love it, and you get comments going, the reason we booked you was X, Y, and Z, and you're getting recommendations and you're pinning them to the top and everything's working beautifully. But it puts your face on your marketing, which is what you're talking about. It's also an easy post to talk about yourself, just then quickly.
People like to see it as well, don't they?
Absolutely.
They like to see behind the curtain and into your personal life.
It tends to be one of those posts that gets really great traction.
I get brides and grooms that like turn up on the wedding day and they're like, "Oh, we saw you at thingy last week, and like, did you? I saw you at the cinema watching that film.
Totally.
Like, what do you think?" And
totally.
they feel like they know you a bit.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think we could have James back for like a social media masterclass podcast, don't you?
We should. The answer about
spot there, Ad's on your head.
I know, don't aim that at me.
Adam's just picked a big spot.
Is that landed in the? Something landed in the thing.
I'm gonna leave it on.
I bet you're gonna fucking edit this out now, aren't you?
Yep. So
where were we all sat just for continuity?
I knew as soon as I picked it, I was like,
why am I doing this?
I made a paper.
Oh, it's bleeding.
Yeah.
We got a bleeder.
Do we have to stop filming?
You were going to have to stop
recording because of this.
Can we get the medic in, please?
Your answer, the way you answered that about the communication, the initial response to an inquiry from suppliers as a groom, that's the one. Like, it's interesting that you said that because that's the one thing that has made me think differently.
Nice.
In that every supplier that we spoke to, and I get it. Like, someone would take 48 hours, a few days to reply, and because I'm guilty of it, I've in the past, it takes me days. I'm terrible at replying to emails. It can sometimes take me 2 or 3 days to reply. But I liked being a groom. The suppliers that came back to me within a couple of hours, and it was back and forth. I liked that. So it made me think, oh yeah, I need to start communicating better. Because I know from being on the other side of it now as a groom, we were sitting down for the evening. We're going to wedding plan tonight. And you're in that mindset. And if they don't then come back to you for a couple of days, you kind of go, oh, they've replied, but I'm not in the mood now. I'll look at it later.
I've got an alternative thought to that, though.
Go on.
And I think I've done this purposely in the past where I haven't replied straight away. I've made them wait
too keen
for a day or two, because then they might think, oh, he's not got back to us yet. He's not got back to us. I think sometimes they might want you a bit more.
Can I say the middle ground? Can I say the middle ground of that?
Yeah.
The middle ground for that, and this again is something I've talked about in the past. My phone, I know a lot of people's phones are lit up constantly with emails and all that kind of stuff. I don't have notifications. I don't have my emails on my phone. I have the majority of notifications knocked off my phone, and I have a separate business WhatsApp with a separate number on the same phone that couples get, and my mates get the other one. So from an email,
mates?
Two
mates, yeah.
One and a bit.
Yeah.
So for me, emails get checked in the morning. Then the program gets closed down because I don't want to be editing and stuff pinging in and Zara have got a sale or whatever. I want to be in the edit. So I check my emails in the morning, reply to what I've got, and then the app gets closed down
until tomorrow.
Till lunchtime.
Okay.
Then at lunchtime, just before I grab something back to eat, I'll open up my emails, anything there, reply, send, boom, 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 close it again, and then it gets the end of the day.
Yeah.
3 times. So just before I finish,
because I'm the morning, smash out the entire inbox, and then I don't bother. If I get another reply throughout the day, I tend to go, I'll reply to that later, and it gets to the next morning before I do.
Well, that might work for you, but for me, that morning, lunch, and end of the day means that you're still hot enough, but you're not.
Yeah.
Like you said, I feel. I've had it before where I get responses straight away, and I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of like it, but I don't know how I feel about it. But if there's a decent 3-4 hours, then that feels right for me. So, and it also stops you being a slave to your phone, and it also allows you, most importantly, to respond, and you're fully in the response. You're not doing it on the fly because you're waiting to pick your kids up at the thing, and it's not as you're not going into as much depth as you would do if you were sat at your computer with the time to be able to do that.
That structure there you've got, which you talked about before, that it's working perfectly there.
It's key. It? Yeah. And again, the WhatsApp has been a game changer. That business WhatsApp.
Let's get onto that quickly before we move on.
I just want a quick question that you said you touched on it before. Have Zara got a sailor?
Probably, they always do. It's in my tea, probably. Pay full back.
Because this was one of the things we spoke about a couple of weeks ago at the wedding, and I started doing it because the conversation was about emails not landing and couples not replying, and I'm always worried that my emails are going in their junk folders and not getting a reply and stuff.
Yeah.
So I started doing the WhatsApp follow up after our conversation.
Perfect.
And it's working. Like I've already had a couple of brides come back.
There you go.
One who has booked, but my initial reply to her had gone in her junk, and so the fact that I WhatsApped her straight away, chased her up and went, just follow up just to check that you got my email. And
Sent
she was
me
like,
10%.
oh yeah, I'm glad you messaged because it's gone in my junk.
There you go.
I'll send you your check in the post, because
I've been
then
there
she ended
before,
up booking.
But a week later, it's it's in my junk.
Yeah.
And I've got a reply, I'm really sorry.
But you've separated your WhatsApp personal to your couples stuff, which is a good way to just, mindset-wise and keep it all separate and organised.
Yeah. So when we went on holiday to Dubai, and as Dubai does, it's forward thinking. So I quickly discovered that for every restaurant reservation, there was a WhatsApp button on the website that I could just WhatsApp and go, can we book a table tonight, 2 people, 6 p.m? And they have whatever call center or whatever, however they execute it, somebody replying in the proper amount of time on WhatsApp, kind of going, yeah, no problem. 2 people, we can't do 8, we can do 8:30. Do you want anything on arrival? A bit of upsell in there, and away you go. And I was like, that's really cool. I like that. How can I do that? I need that. We're doing that, which they're doing that, which means we're going to be doing it in probably 55 years or whatever the time difference is. But we'll eventually be adopting that. How can I adopt that now? And then I've discovered it's actually Gary Lineker's son, would you believe, he's based a business on having a separate mobile number for your mobile. So there's 2 numbers that are connected to my phone.
Oh, okay.
Cost me £5 a month, something like that. I don't know.
I've got it in here because I did it based on your recommendations.
Who was it? I
called,
can't remember.
Your business number.
Your business number on
Is the name
Instagram.
of the
I'm not
business.
affiliated in any way, shape, or form. This isn't me getting a kickback. It's just it came up on a sponsored ad and it works. They
You
do
pay
it
them
through
a few quid a month, and you get a separate number that you can then use on your existing phone.
Yeah. So if you ring that number,
It's
that
not
phone
a SIM
rings.
card then. It's
No,
just,
No, it's
yeah,
just a number that's attached to your existing number, and it routes through.
Excellent.
5-6 quid a month. What that then does is it allows you to download business WhatsApp. So you've already got WhatsApp on your phone now.
Yeah.
Business WhatsApp, you then link with that new number.
I didn't know there was a business WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have to have your number linked. So if you put your existing number on your business WhatsApp, you can't use personal WhatsApp anymore. So you do need 2 separate numbers to operate both.
So that makes sense from the starting point. Get a separate business WhatsApp
Yeah.
and use that other number for it.
There you go.
Okay. got it.
So when I get an inquiry now, I'm asking for the mobile number. The reason I'm asking for the mobile number, I've told them
that
you'll
goes
get a
straight
WhatsApp.
to your WhatsApp business.
So what I then do is I then save the number into my phone. I always put some brief details, date and venue. I then send the response to the inquiry and I drop them a quick WhatsApp. Hey Howard, just a quick one. Thank you so much for your inquiry. It's James Jebson, photographer. Just to let you know, I've just responded now. It may land in your junk folder. It sometimes does that with Gmail accounts, Hotmail accounts, whatever account that they've done,
Yeah.
because I'm bespoking the response to them. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. It'd be really good to have a chat. And then the amount of times where the inquiry has then gone into WhatsApp, the conversation has then ensued of going, oh my God, great to hear from you. We've just looked through your brochure. It looks amazing. But
You carried on
Yeah.
WhatsApp, aren't
Yeah,
you?
so forget
And it's
email,
more of an
it's
informal way of
back and
communication,
forth.
isn't it?
And
More
the amount of
informal.
bookings that I've got, like you just said, we talked about it a matter of weeks ago,
Yeah,
and you've managed to rescue a booking that would have landed in the junk. They've gone,
Forgotten
he's not
about,
even
yeah.
responded. They've then met up another person, booked them, and then found your response, but you've
That's
lost
my
it.
eternal worry, is that I reply to everything. I know I do. So my worry is that if they don't get a response from me, it's probably gone in the junk or it's not landed for whatever reason. And I just hate to think that couples are going, well, he's shit because he didn't reply.
Well, this is brilliant practice, this, by the way.
It leads to everything of having multiple businesses that without it, my phone, I would do this and then I'd get to my phone and it pinged however many times. But I now know that when my business WhatsApp goes across, it's important and I can respond to it.
And it's organised. Like,
and it's organised.
If it's lost in the sea of your messages and your group chats with your mates.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
hate WhatsApp because as soon as you open the app, the notifications
Ding, ding, ding,
disappear.
ding, ding. Yeah.
So the notifications on the app on your home screen disappear when
Yeah.
you open it, so that I lose.
So when you open your WhatsApp app,
Yes.
will it then give you the option of which one you want to
No,
go
no.
with?
There's two
Two
separate
separate apps.
Oh, 2 separate apps.
Two separate icons on your phone. So
I see.
I don't have notifications on my personal WhatsApp. I check that when I want to, because again, it will be going off with all the
Yeah.
group chats and all that kind of stuff. So I don't get notifications with my personal WhatsApp. When I want to check it, I'll check it. With my business WhatsApp, that's the only thing that has notifications because it's
Got
hot
it. Yeah,
and I want to get on
got
it. Email is more formal,
Yeah.
can take a long response. WhatsApp,
Boom.
yeah.
Bizarre, isn't it?
But it's been a game changer, genuinely, and I know that gets used a lot, game changing, but it is because the amount of couples that default, and something I've only just started doing at the later part of this year is that with some couples that have been more communicative, that are in it and want to chat and all that kind of stuff, I've set up a business. Within the business WhatsApp, I've set up a group chat with both members, the groom and the bride, or the bride and the bride, or the groom and the groom. Hi guys, so this is the night before. Enjoy it. I'll be with you at whatever time we've agreed, 10 a.m. Enjoy your final night. Cannot wait for tomorrow. It's going to be epic.
Boom.
The amount of times I've turned up and the bridesmaids have gone, oh my God, we saw that message you sent last night. That's really cute, that. And I've gone, I've not even put my camera back down yet and people like me.
Yeah,
I'm on a winner.
Yeah.
So, and it's separate.
These are great little sections
And
for the
this
video, aren't they?
you know, like
Did you get that? Do you want me to go again? So it's a great opportunity. I can't remember what I said.
But people, like today's generation, live on the phones. They're constantly in
Yeah, man.
WhatsApps and DMs. It's just the way people communicate now, and it's great that you can build that relationship with the couple, send them gifts and emojis
Yeah,
and
exactly
informal stuff that you can do on WhatsApp.
And my couples do that. So again, it goes back to
Depends
something.
who you want to attract, obviously.
And that's the point. So finding the couples that are right for you, these are the couples that are right for me. Like the
Some couples might not like that and might not want to give you the number.
You've got a
And
couple
that's
you're having
totally
banter
cool.
with on WhatsApp, and he's sending gifs and emojis and stuff. It's like,
that
you're
for
on
me
my
is the
wavelength.
kind of
Yeah.
couple I want, because I want that relationship with them.
And you get a WhatsApp ping in, and they go, "Oh my god, we're just at a wedding. We've just been watching the photographer going, thank God we had Jebson." And you're like, "Oh, go on," and like, and you're bantering,
Brilliant.
and then it cements that again. Going back from my business model of recommendations, my mate gets engaged. You've got to have Jebson. Here's his number. Drop him a WhatsApp. He's, oh my god, we've had such a. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That for me holds more credence for my couples than the selfies that I used to do and the stuff that I used to do. Maybe it'll change again in 3 years' time.
This
I'll
is
do it.
like, for me, this is the one practice that I'm going to be doing for next year. Is like, whilst I'm quiet, is looking into this.
I'm definitely gonna start doing
WhatsApping
this.
your
Brilliant.
business number. So I think it's a great tip.
Get
for anyone
control of
listening.
your phone again.
If you're not doing it.
Yeah, getting control is so key, because when you're being reactive to inquiries coming in and stuff and people chasing out and you're not.
Yeah,
you're not
just
at
lose stuff,
optimum.
don't you?
Yeah, you're not.
I
at
think we
optimum.
could have James on a workshop, teaching this stuff on a little presentation.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
That last bit of chat about the WhatsApp, that's blown my mind. That's brilliant.
But
It's new to me, and I mean, this is my game.
Well,
it's brilliant.
it's just about being aware of stuff. I'm the type of idiot that when he sits in a restaurant, I go, "This is beautiful," and then I go, "Wonder how much money they're making. What are the overheads? Have they got staff? They've got that. How do you, what does their Insta look like?" And I don't know why. That's just how my brain operates from an entrepreneurial perspective. I'm kind of going, God, I wonder what the rent on this place is, but it'd probably be worth it actually, weird. But I then go, well, what works for me? And that was an obvious one of being in Dubai, and on the website now, there's even links straight to WhatsApp. So if they're scrolling, they can hit the WhatsApp and it sends straight through to opening their WhatsApp to then WhatsApp me, so they can inquire through WhatsApp now.
Just make it as easy as possible for your client, isn't
Defo.
it? To communicate with you.
I mean, they always talk about 3 clicks. For me, I don't know if I can do it 1 click. Brilliant.
So there was a point in your career where you decided, I want to have a little side hustle, do something else, and that's been in the commercial sector for you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm wondering what made you want to do that, and how did that work, and how did you start getting your first commercial gigs?
It's a great story, that.
Well, because this is something that people might want to look at for next year if it's quiet.
It's quiet on weddings. I want to start getting a bit of commercial work, and you've done it perfectly. I've watched your transition, and it's been amazing, and really good commercial work as well.
Thank you.
So how did it happen for you?
It's a the first commercial gig is a cool story, and I've told the story a lot, but a pal of mine worked for a magazine, and his wife was heavily pregnant, and he was basically being told that he shouldn't attend the job that he had to attend for this magazine. And he belled me up and he was like, "Mate, I know it's not your bag, but can you do this job for me? It's in a paparazzi pen. I know it." And I was like, instantly like, "Mate, this isn't for me." But I felt harsh on the fact that I knew that he was in a bit of a sticky spot with what was going on with him personally. So I was like, "Listen, one off, I'll do this thing." So it was actually for the UNICEF Gala at Old Trafford, and I arrived completely out of my depth of walking in this pen with all these old boys, and it felt like everybody's turned around to look, to kind of go, "Who's this kid?"
Yeah. And you didn't have a 72.
And I didn't have a step ladder. They're all getting step ladders out. They're all shouting, all that kind of. And I'm like learning as I'm going, because they're all going, "Hey, over here, Peter Andre," or whatever. They walk up to the red carpet in front of the UNICEF. We get 10 seconds, ding, 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 and then they go inside. That was it. I was stood in a particular spot, got moved because Jeff, who's been doing the job 110 years, that's Jeff's spot. You don't stand in Jeff's spot. All that kind of energy.
Yeah.
I'm going, I'm texting me mate, going, "You owe me one for this. This is awful." Peeing down the rain. Anyway, I've then spotted a member of staff with a Man United coat and a clipboard, and she's come over and she's gone, "Right, I just need to know what publications we're representing." "Okay, yeah, we're here from whatever, Horse and Hound and whatever it was." And as she's come to me, I've explained who I'm there for, and I've gone, "Listen, if you've got a card, I can send you some images over and see if you can use them." And they've all gone, "What a dickhead." And she's gone, "Oh, right, yeah, no, that'd be great." And she passed me a card, Katie Newton. She passed me a business card. And they're all sniggering and all that kind of stuff. Gone back to the car, I've got my laptop out, I've dumped the images, I've done a really quick edit, I've used my hotspot to put them on, at that point, a Dropbox. as she's packing away the barriers and everybody's gone, but she's packing away the barriers with the team and all that kind of stuff. I walked back over, really sorry to interrupt you, Katie, just to let you know, I've just emailed you the Dropbox link from the images from tonight. And she's gone, right, give me your details. I need your card. And she hadn't even looked at the images at that point. 6 months later, I'm then photographing first team players for Man United, which then triggered obviously a massive thing in my commercial thing because I've got this credence of working for Manchester United at that point, which was
it's a platform.
Yeah, exactly that. Shooting Juan Mata and all those kind of guys. Coincidentally, photographed Katie Newton's wedding this year in Manchester.
So good.
So it goes back to relationships and all the stuff I'm sure you talked about.
That your wedding experience that's made you approach her and go, oh, I'll send you some images, do you want that? And
exactly the same. So the stuff we just talked about of going, the suppliers you want to work with, of course I want to work with Man United 2 years into my career. So it's the same principle of just because it's Man United doesn't mean they don't want free images that makes their life really easy. So she can now go inside and post professional images straight away. And get it all over, at the time, Twitter and all that kind of stuff. I then get to share it of going, sometimes they tagged me, sometimes they didn't. It got then to a point where I did a job and I helped her a little bit, because again, I do that a little bit on wedding days, as you guys know. And I'm carrying a set of balls, and we made a joke about me and my ball bag, but it went onto the Man United Foundation Twitter, which then got shared. So it's then building the rapport and the relationship to the point where they ended up getting internal photographers for those jobs, so I got them a little bit less. However, Katie then got in contact and went, oh my God, I've been waiting for this day where I can call you. I'm getting married. Mate, that's amazing. Listen, when are you available? What's going on? All that kind of stuff.
So good.
But those are those guys that sniggered at you.
They're still sitting in the pen doing the thing, which is fine. And
But they because you've got that wedding experience and you've been able to use that in this other area, it made you approach her and ask for a card. Whereas
you always do you. You were just doing you, and you weren't bothered about what them other guys were thinking, and that's really important.
But it also comes back to, for me, and we've talked about it before, I don't hold credence on how many years somebody's been in the industry or what, I've been doing this job 15 years. That doesn't interest me, because some of the best and innovative suppliers or photographers may have only been in the job 2 years. Excuse me. There you go. Keep that in.
It all goes in.
Oh, perfect. So the most innovative photographers or suppliers may have only been in the industry for 2 years, but they're going in it with a beautiful naivety, whereas naivety kind of turns into innovation, because you go, well, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
One of the
someone will say to me, "You can't really do that." And they go, "Oh, I didn't." Well, why?
One of the first wedding fairs. One of the very first wedding fairs I did. It was for a great venue, and I was like, "We'll get together. I can put my camera on a tripod and do a self timer. We can all get a big group photo." And everyone went, "What?" I went, "Yeah, let's do a big." And everyone reluctantly kind of did it, and it worked. If I'd have been in the industry for longer, I'd have gone, you don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
I remember,
I can get one photo and tag in 20 suppliers that are all great.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
I did one of my first weddings, and it was with The Rush, the band.
Best band ever.
Who were brilliant. And Gav, the frontman, it was about 9:30 at night, and they were on a break. They'd done their first set. And I was walking through the room, and Gav spotted me and went, "You still here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Can tell you're new, keen." And he's like, "Yeah, can tell he's young to the game, he's still here." And him and the other bandmate were like, "Yeah, go, give it a couple of years."
Well,
and I was like, "Yeah, but why wouldn't I be here? This is great. I'm having a great time. I'm capturing loads of good stuff. I'm waiting for your second set. I want more stuff."
There it is. But that,
and obviously,
beautiful naivety.
And that's it. And
now I'm gone.
And naivety turns into innovation. It really does. Like that. It naturally. It comes hand in hand in my eyes, because if you're so caught with the blinkers on, you're rarely going to innovate, because it's like, well, this is how it's done and I have to do this. Whereas if you're naive and go, well, let's do that, and then that innovates, it sounds really cheesy.
I think for commercial stuff or getting into work outside of weddings, just lean into what it is that you do at a wedding and do some, like for me and you, it's dead easy because we can apply photo and video to anything.
Yeah.
And I would approach any videos that I've done for other stuff than weddings, I'm still bringing in how I shoot a wedding. It's the same sort of style. I'm still trying to do like a storytelling element to even if it's a video for a property that we've done.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to look at things like composition and light, because it's just what I know, and it's my wedding background. So if you're going to do commercial, why not do something related and lean into?
I've been to a point where I couldn't do. In fact, there was a job for Man United where a wedding photography pal who I knew was a Man United fan, and I said, "I've got this great gig," and he's like, "Oh, don't do commercial." I'm like, "Well, you do, because you do documentary lifestyle stuff during the drinks reception. You do product shots during the getting the stationery or the elements of the room." You get styled model elements when you're doing the couple shoot. You're doing commercial stuff now. It's just not called commercial stuff. What do you mean you do? What do you mean you don't do it? You're doing it every week, and I know you're really good at it. Yeah. And I'm happy to recommend you to this mega client. No, not for me. Not for me.
It's quite easy to go. No, that's not what I do.
Yeah, but it's fair play if they don't want to. But
totally. But you could be missing out on opportunities there.
Do it on the right basis though. Don't do it on the basis that I don't do that when you fucking clearly do. So it's about not fearing it as well, because like you said, you're executing what you do on wedding days for a commercial client. It's that simple. It's
a bit of a getting through that fear barrier, because you're like, I'm not sure.
As with anything though,
it's not my comfort zone. But
you're leveling up then.
But it kind of is, because once you start doing it, you can do what you don't normally do. It's just a different environment. You learn something new, and then it can lead to X, Y, and Z.
But I say to my kids constantly that fear has to be absorbed as a positive thing. It means you're leveling up. If you go through your life without fear, it sounds like a fucking boring, terrible life to me. So the moment you feel a little bit of fear, that should bring positive connotations in your brain of going, oh, that means something good's happening.
Yeah,
that means something that I've never done before is going to be done, and this is exciting, and I'm leveling myself up. That it should be a positive connotation. It's the fear of being punched is more painful than the punch itself. It really is. The thought of it is worse every single time. So, but
as far as getting out there, then maybe we should just have a quick one. So that was a brilliant. You got the opportunity to take to move into that guy's position and take them shots, and look what's come of it.
Yeah, but touching
average
on that
person wedding, what would you recommend for anybody? Right, I want to start getting some commercial work now. What's their direction?
Well, that's literally what I was going to say, because one thing I would say, and I know Johnny touched on it as well, is that there is an opportunity at every wedding. So one of the biggest projects I ever got, which was 21 days on location, came from a 50th birthday party that I wouldn't normally shoot a 50th birthday party, but the person was dead nice and it was local. It was just in Lytham. And it was like, can you just do 2-3 hours? It's in a couple of weeks' time. I knew I wasn't going to get a booking for anything else because it was a Saturday night or whatever. And I did it. And thank God I did it, because it was one of the highest paid projects that I got off the back of it, because he was CEO of a PLC. I didn't know at the time. But because of the level of what I did on the day, again, really focusing on what you do rather than getting the selfie with them and all that kind of stuff. I just really focused on doing the best job possible, delivered it as best I could do. And only at the point when I went round and personally delivered the stuff, because they lived in Lytham, and I went, oh, here's your, at the time, DVD. And they put the DVD on and the slideshow kicked in, and they were sat there going, they were like, have a drink with us. And I'd never sit with couples or anything like that, because of the creative in me gets a little bit nervous. But they were sat there going, this is amazing. Listen, I need to talk to you about some, you do commercial work, don't you? Yeah. I need to talk to you about a project. And the project was 21 days on location. So it was a 5-figure project, and it was a month of shooting, which was amazing. Just sensational.
It does work, because I speak, especially when they see us with a camera on a wedding day, there'll be a guest who, is always switched on. Yeah. That might be like, it's just a bit of video stuff. I actually need a videographer for something.
There's an opportunity, like you say.
Because you never know what people, their jobs are.
It's the nature of it. Yeah, and the nature of the weddings that we're shooting are predominantly because I'd class as higher end weddings.
Nicer weddings,
yeah. You've got a lot of people like CEOs and directors and good clients. Yeah, it's something that I've not done yet, but I was literally talking about this week. This is another good tip that might work. I was getting a tattoo done actually recently in Harvey Nicks, of all places, and the guy who was tattooing me was really switched on in the fact that he had QR codes on the pillars, so there was a lot of people kind of sniffing around a little bit, and he was like, if you just hit that QR code on the wall there, it'll take you through to what we offer at Harvey Nicks and all that kind of stuff. A great thing. Dead soft, but he's getting people in there, they're following the Insta and all that kind of stuff. Instantly, like we talked about, how my brain works, how can I do that? What can I do? Keep getting asked for business cards. I mean, it's the first thing you do when you set up business, you get 1 million business cards, don't you? Because you go, I've made it. Never use them. Yeah. And the amount of times, so I'm like, right, well, I need to get my QR code for either probably my Instagram, and I'm either going to get it put on the back of my phone as a sticker
Yeah.
underneath the thing, and then they can go, yeah, just scan that QR code and takes you straight through to instead of going, it's Jebson, no, it's JEB, it gives you phone.
Yeah.
It's a bit shit, isn't it? It's going, scan that QR code. Okay, no, that's cool. Oh my God, I'm on your Insta follow. So that's something I'm going to be doing from a
We
networking
did that
perspective.
a while ago.
I think that's
do you
in the-
do that?
I think that's in the course, isn't it? As well.
Well, I
Really?
got it from you. I printed out a QR sticker
Really?
label,
Yeah, I used to put
it
a
on the
sticker
back
on the
of my
back,
phone.
and so I just scan that, and they go through to my website.
I remember something cool that you did.
I had it on my
nicked-
old phone. I need to do it on this one.
I remember that app that you used to have where you'd put your business card. I'll never get in the magic circle. But you'd put your business card on the phone and the app, and it'd have a picture of your business card, and you'd be able to move it like that, and you'd go and pull it out, and the business
Yeah,
card would be
yeah,
like that. I used to
do
love
that.
all that kind of stuff.
I used to do all sorts of naff things back in the day.
Cool.
But
I love that.
if it gets a reaction out of someone and it's going to make them remember me, then
Or
why
are they going to
not?
remember
Yeah.
going, well, it's how it, no, H-O,
It-
gives you phone.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
it's
don't
cool.
want that. You want it smooth, and then it sets the precedent.
Tattoo your QR code on you.
100%.
So I think going back from this, the opportunities are at the venues. If somebody wants to get a bit of extra work and they're looking for some commercial stuff, the opportunities are within the wedding industry and certainly on the weddings. I mean, I hired 2 wedding filmmakers and one guy was a bass player and a videographer, Dan. They did some commercial work for me with
No,
one of
Dan
the
really
other
well.
businesses.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
was-
Sorry, yeah,
that was 3.5, 4 grand worth of work.
Yeah.
So you're in the perfect realm for it, aren't you? Really.
Definitely.
But you can even approach venue dressers, suppliers, venues. Just so you know, I also do commercial work if you're interested.
And sometimes I don't push for it too much myself, but I've been asked because I'm friends with so many suppliers and they know me and they
Can
know
I
what
get
I
a
can
promo
do.
video?
They just
Yeah.
go, oh, actually, I want this doing, I want a promo video doing, or I want something for my other business. Can you help? And it's just saying yes to those opportunities when they come.
Well, an instant in, that I've used previously is every venue, obviously, that doesn't have outside caterers does food, and we get brought some food, and you've got your camera kit next to you.
Photos of the food.
So
yeah.
take really spicy shot
Really
of the
good shots
food,
of the
yeah,
food,
and go and send it and have a chat with the wedding coordinator and go, I know it might not be your remit, but I've got a couple of images. Do you want me to airdrop them over and all that kind of stuff? And again, it builds that rapport. You're making their life easy. You're getting on their socials. Can you just make sure you tag us? I don't want anything for it.
Yeah.
Just look, the food's
I
great,
think
by the way.
the
Loads
key
of
is doing it
compliments.
there and then, because if you get home and you back up your stuff and tomorrow, and the longer you delay it, the less likely you are to do it.
I remember Sarah at Heaton House Farm. I don't know if this is the case now, but I remember Sarah back when I started, when I did Johnny Draper's course, which was a game changer for me. I remember Sarah, it's something that really, I hope she doesn't mind me quoting her, but I remember her saying that anybody that asks to be recommended never gets recommended. You kind of have to earn it. And it's kind of a similar precedent in the fact that on the social media accounts where people are spamming and all that kind of stuff, it just leaves a bit of a sour taste. So it's about just adopting it correctly, in my opinion. I don't know if that's relevant or not, but
just to wrap up,
Yes.
we had a question from our last guest to be left for
nice. That's
for
a cool
today,
thing.
which is you, and we'll ask you to do the same if that's all right. Leave on for our next guest. But this is quite apt because Mrs. Bunn, who we had on last week, content creator, she said, do you have any tips on how to manage a work-life balance? Because she's relatively new and she's hell for leather, and she's discovered this year, I think in that conversation we had, she was like, yeah, I've kind of, I don't know if I can sustain that. I need to get a better balance, which is something that at the start you don't have, and you try and learn as you go.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any tips for?
Well, we've already touched on one for a start. If you're too busy, you're not charging enough. So the first protocol is putting £500 on the price tag. You're going to go quieter, but if you do half as many weddings,
Because it enforces
you're earning
that
the
balance,
same,
doesn't it?
Yeah, you're doing the same. You're earning the same, but you're doing half the amount of work instantly if you're charging £500 and you put another £500.
And even just you talking about going from working till 3 a.m. every night to then just changing that and organising your 2 WhatsApps on your phone and just clawing your life back a little bit.
Yeah, the notifications and being structured with responses is key. Customer expectations early on in our careers, particularly, we can promise the world because we want that gig. Yeah, do you want 1,000 images the following morning? Not a problem. Yeah, what have I got to do? Yeah, you want me to give you a sneak peek while you're having your meal? I'm on it. You can do that maybe, but the reality of sustaining that isn't key. So managing expectations from a client perspective. My first port of call is putting 500 quid on whatever you're charging. That will instantly drop the amount of work that you're doing, but it won't drop your income. And from there, turning your notifications off on your phone. Be back in control. Check your apps when you want to check it. If you're being responsive, it's not working. All the stuff we talked about really throughout the podcast, it covers everything.
I think you're good because your communication with your couples, and whether it's because you WhatsApp them, is so much more than maybe some suppliers who just book it in, email you a month before, turn up on the day. Like, being communicative with them, it helps manage those expectations. It helps them understand the process from you, and then they just know, right, well, he replies to us at these times, and he's outlined how he'll work and when we'll get the pictures. So,
and it goes against what you said before,
stops like some pestering, doesn't it?
I mean, it goes against what you said before in the fact of, like, when you were saying when you were sat with your other half in the evening and you're doing wedding planning and you're in it at that point, and then if I'm not responding till the following morning, then it goes against what you were saying. But also, I just feel there's a balance, because if you set the precedent that you respond straight away, then, well, Adam always responds straight away. Why have you not responded straight away? Well, I'm shooting a wedding. I can't, but you've always responded straight away. So instantly the expectation's there and you're there then. So if you go the other way, then it's easy to exceed the expectations, which is what we should all be aiming for.
It's funny that people talk about balance. I need to get balance back. And I always think, compared to what?
Well, balance takes many forms. Like, you could say that the work-life balance is you work these hours and then you're dedicating the rest to family time and social life and stuff. Well, that's not for everyone. Like, I love working. So for me, a balance is being able to work the hours I want to work. I
think sometimes people, when they get in this blinkered world and they're busy with all the wedding stuff, sometimes you've got to step yourself out of it and think, well, what else would I be doing? Would I be working a job 6 days a week to earn probably not as much as what I'm earning now? I've got the control of everything because it's my own business. I do what I want. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just, it's actually pretty good. And
it's amazing.
I don't know if there's if such a thing as work-life balance. I think if you're happy doing what you're doing and you can still fit things in you want to do, then you've made it.
I agree with that, but I do think that we value the wrong things. You said it beautifully before we started filming, where I was talking about somebody and I was like, saying about their choices, and I said, and he's really happy, and you said, well, he's absolutely nailed it then, hasn't he? And that really resonated with me genuinely, because
there's millionaires that are stressed as hell and they're not really happy in their life, and you've got people that are just ticking along and love life and they're happy, And
that's what I mean. So from a value system, and I know like Gary Vee and people have kind of shifted what they're talking about with what your value system should be.
All the time.
And sleep and all that kind of stuff to go in. Well,
be happy.
Yeah. So and again, it goes back to finding your why. Is your why you want the Ferrari in the castle and I'm all for that? And then go for that, or do you want to be spending as much time with your kids? And it's all stuff I've talked about repeatedly of finding your why and your value system. But I feel that we value things. I hate the question, how many have you got this year? I fucking hate that question. It's a ridiculous question.
There's no context to it.
And I know it's an opener for when you meet and say, how many have you got this year?
There's no context to it, though,
is there? A bizarre question, but people value it. Have you got 50? Oh my God, I've got...
Yeah,
well,
but
I've got 60.
If I said to you, I've got 6 for next year, you'd go, he's struggling. But for all you know, they're 20 grand each.
Do you think your 12.5 grand photographer down in London's, when she goes, I'm doing 6 of these, you got 6 in? Yeah, but I'm in the fucking same as you are and you're doing 40 or whatever. I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Everybody's different. So
it's the wrong question, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is the wrong question. We valued the wrong thing. So it goes back to, I could churn on about this for hours. It goes on about how many followers you've got, how many likes. I was talking to an incredible photographer who's a really good mate of mine. We go out personally, socially, and we were talking about our accounts, our social accounts, and I was saying, mate, you get, consistently probably twice as many likes on your posts than what I do. And he's like, yeah, but it's other photographers, so it doesn't help me from a business perspective. It's other photographers because I've opened my network to a lot of photographers because I've done like how-to videos and all that kind of stuff. So it looks like I'm then looking at him going, oh my God, he's absolutely killing it. But I'm getting less likes that are higher quality likes because it's couples and it's this kind of stuff. So it's all that kind of stuff of what your value system is within that. Oh my God, well, you got 400 likes, only got 250. It doesn't matter. Like, the value system is, do you enjoy what you do? Is it a bane in the morning getting your camera bag on your shoulder and going to a wedding? Because for me, I fucking love it.
Well, this is what I'm like, the stereotypical view of a work-life balance. For me, my work life is my balance. Like, I love doing it, and I'd happily, like, to the point where sometimes a social commitment or a family thing is like, I've got to do that. I'd rather be working.
But that's the basis of a creative,
So
by the way.
that's the opposite of what you'd expect of a work-life balance. But if I could work all the
Christmas
hours
dinner
I
with the
want to
family.
do,
No, I'd rather do a gig.
Yeah, that's it.
and I love family time, but I just also love what I do. So
See, I've gone full
I'd
circle with
feel
that.
more balanced if I could work those extra couple hours and know that I've got that time to myself and work the hours I want to work and then do the social time I want to do. That's my balance.
See, I've gone full
Probably look different
circle.
to someone else's.
Yeah, and it definitely changes in different chapters of your life. And I touched on it before with the kids and the age that they're at. But previously, I was maybe in a relationship I wasn't mega happy in. At the time I thought I was, but I probably wasn't. That's why I was driving and working till 3 a.m. and kind of that was my creative escape. I'd found an occupation that I loved doing, so that drove me even more. But then your life changes a little bit and I fucking want to race home and be with my kids and play Barbie with my daughter and hang out with my wife-to-be because she's fucking ace. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong to want to work more but for me right now, and you know, my kids will get to a point where I don't want to hang around with them because they stink and they're teenagers, and I go, do you know, I'm going to work a little bit more actually because but right now they're at a golden era and I fucking love it. So
enjoy the time.
Yeah, and that's it. And then that'll change in a few years' time. So for me, everybody's value system's different, but please value the right things. Followers, likes. Looking at my social media clients, we had somebody whose the video organically hit about 1.5 million views. Amazing. Next day, life goes on because it doesn't change anything. Like, you're not instantly going to be successful because you get over 1 million, 2 million views on a video or a reel or a TikTok. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. So don't value that as a high point. You know, whether it's Alan Law, I went on his training course a few years ago. Alan Law did a great thing, which again I've talked about repeatedly, but Alan Law, his currency is time. So he does X amount of weddings for X amount of money, which gives him a total for the year. But more importantly, he'd say he does 30 weddings a year. He knows that he's working 90 days of the year in total for everything. And then the rest of the 9 months he's got with his family because that's what he values the most at this moment in time. So his currency is time. And that's absolutely a viable thing. Like I said before, it might be the Ferrari and the castle. And that's a viable thing too. It's just identifying what it is and then driving towards that value system. But that's a really long answer for how do I keep my emails right or whatever.
I think it's a good
We
vision
could go
point
on
as well.
forever with this, couldn't we?
Brilliant.
Because it's, another thing that we ask everyone at the end is
8.5 inches.
Your most embarrassing, outrageous, hilarious wedding story that you might have.
It was with
You've
Howie.
Got a particular thing that sticks in the
It was with Howard, and I was Amy Briggs.
Another one.
I remember all my couples.
But don't tell me.
Amy Briggs.
Barrow.
Yeah, keep going.
Barrow.
I've never shot there since, actually.
Abbey House.
Abbey House.
She's a great singer from what I remember.
Great singer, great vocals. Amy Briggs.
Can't remember the story though.
Oh, right. Well, you will
My
do in a moment.
sister-in-law's called Amy Briggs.
It's not
Different
yeah,
person.
different Amy. Again, still, I haven't spoken to her actually in a while, but we occasionally see each other on social and all that kind of stuff. But Amy Briggs, so in the morning, she had a lot of bridesmaids. I think she had about 8, maybe 9
And if it
bridesmaids.
is the same person, you're leading a double life. What's
Oh
going on?
my God. I'll send you the gallery. But Amy Briggs, in the morning, I'm doing prep. I wear tight pants, as you may have seen today. I don't know. It was during a stage in my career where for some reason I did a headshot of every bridesmaid. I have no idea why I did it, but that's what I used to do. And I stepped up on a wall to get a nice height on these bridesmaids. And as I put one foot up, my trousers split right down the seam. And I mean, right the way down. And it was during preparation. So that
weren't
wasn't
wearing underpants.
Yeah, so I was wearing underwear, which is very rare for me, but I wasn't on that occasion. And I walked back, I was like, how do I handle this? So I walked back in and I owned it. And I went, guys, I had a slight problem, turn around.
Where's the sewing kit?
Where's the sewing kit? Bridesmaids, it's hilarious. People getting selfies next to my house, all that kind of stuff. But that wasn't the most embarrassing bit. The most embarrassing bit was then we've done the ceremony in a church, and I'm kind of like, oh my God, I'm going to hell. But I then got back to the wedding venue where the reception was. I've gone, Howard, my fucking pants have split, dude. He's like, don't worry, I've got gaffer tape. We'll sort it out. Me and Howard went to the gents' toilets, and we
Gaffer taped him up.
We got my pants off, so I'm stood at the sink, just in my boxers with my pants on the side, as Howard has pulled out a big roll of gaffer tape. This guest has walked in and gone, and we're like, all right?
What a scene.
And he just went, you're all right? I went, my pants are split, like, straight away. My pants are split, we're trying to...
It's just my pants, isn't it?
Yeah. So it wasn't the pants splitting, it was the fact that me and
The fact that he
Howard
had his pants down, out in the toilet with him with a roll of gaffer tape.
going... That was the most embarrassing point.
That is where we're going to end it, ladies and gentlemen.
Was there anything else you wanted to add or ask? Or?
No!
That's brilliant.
I don't think we need any more than that.
James Jebson, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking. Appreciate you.
Mate,
Love you.
Absolutely
Love
loved
you
it.
all.
It's been brilliant. Yeah. See ya.
See you soon. Bye. Cheers, mate. So, thanks so much for listening. We really hope that you found this episode insightful, inspirational, and if you did enjoy that, then please consider subscribing to us wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. We're Think Wedding Business.
We're also on YouTube and Instagram. So if you want to watch us, you can go over to YouTube and find us at Think Wedding Business. And the same over on Instagram to keep up with all of our future episodes.
We'd really love you to subscribe and join us on this journey. And if you do like this content, please consider giving us a 5-star review. It just helps us get seen and helps spread the word.
So thanks again for listening,
Wings
and we'll see you
out.
next time.
Bye-bye.